with you, man.
Yay!
Put that weak on punch.
God! Oh, come on!
Apologize for that terrible joke.
Never!
I said apologize for that terrible joke.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm really very sorry.
All right, folks, I'm about to show you how to deal with a rude interruption. That now brings us to the combat section of today's tour. Welcome, Matthew Baldoni, everyone.
Hello.
And what you guys just saw is a small combat demo of some of the combat that we use here at Tecumseh. So before this show actually go up, we go through about a 2.5 to 3 week rehearsal process of 14 hours a day, 6 days a week, learning how to shoot weapons, ride horses bareback, and kick each other's behind all day long. So please, all you young men, do not try this at home. The first thing in stage, yeah, like you're really gonna listen, right? First thing in stage combat is your stance. You want to get in a nice low fighting stance, keep your hips and shoulders square to each other. Our knees are bent. Our feet are about shoulder width apart in just those centers so we are both balanced and in control at all times. The next thing is eye contact. Very important, because we play in the world's largest sandbox, sand will get kicked in your eye, thrown in your eye, shoved in your eye at some point during this show. If that was to happen, I would get Matthew off stage safely and the fight would not continue. The next reason why eye contact is very important, it lets him know that I'm in fact ready to fight. And number two, he will know how to react to any punch or kick that I throw at him. And the last thing is spacing. He'll place his thumb on his nose, his pinky stretched out. That's a good 6 to 8 inches, a very safe fighting distance. Now obviously, folks, during the battles tonight, you will not see us run up on stage and do this. Spacing. We practice a lot, so it isn't on muscle memory. So now we're ready to fight. The first move today is called the Roundhouse Punch. And this is also called out of distance move because I'm out of distance of Matthew's body. Later on, we'll show you an in-distance move where we'll actually make contact with each other. All right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right. Roundhouse Punch, take 1. Ready?
Yes.
That's pretty good, right?
That was awful.
What was wrong with that?
They could all tell that you weren't really hitting me.
Well, how do we fix that?
We need to incorporate the element of masking.
Okay.
In the theater, masking simply means you put something in between the audience's point of view and what you do not want them to see. As you might have heard earlier in the tour, these 2 walls on either side of the stage provide masking for our backstage areas during the show. So for the purposes of this punch, I will provide masking by putting myself in between what I don't want you to see, which is Stefan's fist not actually hitting me, and what I do want you to see, which is his big preparation and my brilliant acting as I sell the punch. Now, on top of that, the depth perception of the human eye tends to fall off just a little bit, between 8 and 12 feet. What that means for us is, thanks to this lovely belt of greenery, which separates the stage from the house, every seat in the amphitheater is far enough away that that depth perception effect will come into play. We can take advantage of that to help our battles look more realistic and more brutal.
All right. So now with the element of masking added in, let's see what happens to the Roundhouse Punch on take 2. You finished dancing? I'm good. All right. Ready?
Yeah.
That was a little bit better. Something's missing though, man.
Yeah.
Anybody know what's missing?
Noise.
The noise
Yes.
or the sound of the punch, exactly. How do you make that, Baldoni?
We need to generate a nap. The nap is spelled K-N-A-P, and just as that young gentleman is demonstrating, it is the sound of flesh on flesh contact. You can make a nap on any meaty, juicy part of the body. For this punch, since Stevens, who's the one swinging at me, I'll be generating the nap using a technique that we call the clap nap. With my back to you all, so you won't be able to see, I'm going to tuck my elbows into my body like this, hold my hands just like so. When Stevens' fist crosses the plane of my face, I just got hit.
Just like that. All right, so now with all these elements added in there with a sprinkling of acting, let's see what happens to the Roundhouse Punch at show speed. Ready?
Yes.
And there you have the Roundhouse Punch.
The next move we're going to demonstrate for you all is a stomach punch. This is different than the one we've just done because this is an in-distance move, which means my fist will be making contact with Stefan's body. Now, if this were a real fight, I'd want to ball my fist up as tight as possible and try to drive it through Stefan with all the force that I've got. But since this is a staged fight, and he knows where I sleep at night, I don't actually want to hurt Stefan. So there are a few things I can do to help keep him safe. The first of these is something we call the roll of quarters technique. That means instead of holding my fist tight and balled up, I'm going to hold it loose and open as though I were gripping a roll of quarters. It looks like a fist, but it has no mass. On top of that, I'm going to use something that we call negative energy. What that means is whatever speed I bring the punch in to land on Steven's body, I'm going to pull it back twice as quickly. This will both help sell the illusion of the strike and redirect all that force away from his body. So I'm going to get in my fighter stance, make eye contact with Steven, let him know we're ready to go. Then I'm going to drop my eyes to my target because my fist wants to go where my eyes are looking. And if I keep looking at Steven's face, we might be in a real fight. So I'm going to make eye contact with Steven, eye contact with my target, prep, and go.
And before he strikes my stomach, I'm going to clench my abs as tight as I possibly can to give him a nice hard target. So hopefully we get that good whacking sound.
Are you ready?
Ready. There you have the stomach punch. All right, now you saw Matthew Fall making that terrible joke, and I tried to rip his hair out of his head. But no, I really didn't, folks. I simply placed my palm flat on his skull, made a fist. He then grabs my wrist, and he does all the acting. So,